Don't drink that!
That day, a building janitor suddenly burst into a world-class CEO's critical meeting and knocked away his coffee cup. What on earth had happened? The story you're all wondering about begins right now. Before we start, if you could subscribe and hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. Now then, let's dive into this incredible story together. San Francisco, December 2024, 4:00 a.m. The piercing sound of my old alarm clock shattered the silence of my tiny studio apartment. I opened my eyes. My name is Emma Carter, 27 years old, MIT computer science graduate. But right now, I'm a night shift janitor. I dragged myself out of bed and faced the small mirror on the wall. The reflection staring back at me was almost unrecognizable. Dark circles had crawled down to the bottom of my eyes. My hair was dry and lifeless. My hands were cracked and bleeding from harsh cleaning chemicals. A deep sigh escaped my lips. Red notices covered my wall. Electric bill past due $180. Internet overdue $90. Rent 2 months behind $2,400. And the crushing weight, student loan debt $127,000. I graduated from MIT. Computer science degree, GPA 3.8. But right after graduation, the recession hit hard. Mass layoffs swept through tech companies. Meta, Google, Amazon, Twitter, Netflix, all hiring freezes. I applied to 127 jobs. Every single one rejected me. We appreciate your interest, but we've decided to move forward with other candidates. Unfortunately, at this time, 27 years old, $127,000 in crushing debt, working as a night shift janitor. This was my reality. Weekdays, night janitor 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Weekends, diner waitress 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Daily sleep 3 hours. Monthly income, night janitor $1,800. Weekend waitress $1,000. Total $2,800. Monthly expenses, student loan minimum payment $1,200. Rent $1,200. Utilities and phone $200. Total $2,600. Money left $200. $200 for an entire month's groceries. Transportation, everything else, that's $6.66 per day. 4:30 a.m. I put on my worn blue janitor's uniform. The fabric was thin and faded. Name tag pinned crooked, Emma. I stared at my reflection again. My MIT degree, completely worthless. Self-loathing washed over me in waves. But I had no choice. I had to survive. 5:00 a.m. I climbed into my 2010 Honda Civic. The odometer read 178,452 miles. Heater broken. Air conditioning broken. Check engine light permanently on. But it still runs. I'm grateful for that much. December mornings in San Francisco are brutal. The pre-dawn air was frigid. Thick fog rolled in from the bay. My breath created clouds inside the car. So cold, but I couldn't stop. Being late meant losing wages. 6:00 a.m. I pulled up to the building. Mitchell Technologies, a sleek 5-story structure of glass and brushed steel. Silicon Valley's hottest AI startup. Just completed Series C funding. $200 million venture capital raised. Forbes had featured them top 10 AI companies to watch in 2025. But to me, I was just the janitor. Invisible. The security guard Mark waved me through. Morning, Emma. Morning, Mark. Brutal cold today, huh? Yeah, freezing. Stay warm. Go ahead in. I grabbed my cart of cleaning supplies and pushed through the glass doors. Stepping inside was like entering a completely different universe. The massive lobby stretched out before me. Floor-to-ceiling windows, LED screens displayed flowing streams of AI data, neural network visualizations, real-time processing stats. Down both hallways, glass-walled conference rooms, whiteboards covered in complex mathematical equations. The laboratory floor, humanoid AI robots, moved silently on tracks, testing, learning, evolving. This is the future. I used to dream of working in a place like this. When I was at MIT, this was everything I wanted. But now, I'm wearing a janitor's uniform. Cleaning up after the people. Living my dream. 6:30 a.m. I started my routine. First floor lobby. Mopping the marble floors. Polishing glass windows until spotless. Emptying overflowing trash bins. Second floor open office. Wiping down 200 desks. Vacuuming between cubicles. Collecting abandoned coffee cups. Third floor conference rooms. Sanitizing conference tables. Erasing whiteboards filled with algorithms. Straightening chairs. Fourth floor laboratory. Cleaning with extreme care. Never touching equipment. Only mopping designated floor areas. Fifth floor executive suites. Most careful of all. Vacuuming imported carpets. Dusting CEO's mahogany desk. Until 1100 a.m. 5 solid hours. Non-stop movement. Hourly wage $18. Daily earnings $90. Before taxes. 900 a.m. The building was still empty. Employees wouldn't arrive until 9:30. I had to finish and disappear before then. Under harsh fluorescent lights. Completely alone. Just me and my mop. My knees ached. Lower back screaming. Hands swollen and red from chemicals. But I couldn't stop. At the end of the fifth floor hallway. A massive window overlooking the bay. I paused for just a moment. The view outside. San Francisco Bay glistening. Golden Gate Bridge in morning light. Downtown skyscrapers reflecting sunrise. Successful people live in those buildings. Driving Teslas and Porsches. Living in penthouses with million-dollar views. Never worrying about money. When will I ever live like that? I checked my phone. 3 messages from Ryan. Ryan, hey babe, how's work going? Ryan, don't push yourself too hard, okay? Ryan, love you. Ryan, my boyfriend of 1 year. We met at Sonny's Diner where I work weekends. He told me he's a software engineer. Works at a small startup. Doesn't make much money. Has student loans just like me. But he's warm. He understands my struggle. With Ryan, I can actually smile. For those few hours together, I can forget about everything. I typed back quickly. Emma, I'm okay. Just tired. Miss you so much. Friday finally arrived. Payday. I opened my banking app with trembling fingers. Direct deposit $1,800. Current balance $1,812. For about 5 seconds, I felt relief. Then reality hit. Automatic withdrawals began processing. Student loan payment minus $1,200. Rent partial minus $600. Remaining balance $12. $12. To survive an entire week. I stared at the screen. Felt my eyes burning with tears. How long can I live like this? How many more years until this debt is gone? Saturday morning, 8:00 a.m. I clocked in at Sonny's Diner. Sonny's Diner. A classic American roadside diner. Red vinyl booths cracked with age. Black and white checkered floor. Ancient jukebox in the corner. I changed into my waitress uniform. Pink dress with white collar. White apron tied around my waist. Name tag, Emma. Fake smile plastered on. Table 5. 2 stacks of pancakes, bacon, coffee. Coming right up. 8 hours straight. Running between tables. Taking orders. Carrying heavy trays. Refilling coffee endlessly. Dodging grabby hands. Smiling through exhaustion. 4:00 p.m. Shift over. Tips included $120. Not bad for a Saturday. But my feet were screaming. Legs shaking. Back on fire. Saturday evening, 7:00 p.m. I met Ryan. We went to a small pizza joint. Nothing fancy. 1 medium pizza $10. We split it. Tap water to drink. Emma, you look exhausted. Ryan's eyes were full of concern. I'm okay. Just a long week. I tried to smile. You're working way too hard. 2 jobs, barely any sleep. He held my hand across the table. I wish I could help more. I hate seeing you like this. It's okay, Ryan. You have your own loans to worry about. Still, Ryan squeezed my hand tighter. Emma, listen. Someday, I promise you, I'll make enough money. I'll pay off your loans. And we'll have a real life together. No more struggling. No more 2 jobs. Just us. Living normally. I felt tears coming. I blinked them back. That's a beautiful dream. It's not just a dream, Emma. It's a promise. Sunday. My only day off all week. I slept for 12 straight hours. My body desperately needed it. When I finally woke up at 3 p.m., I looked in the mirror. The dark circles seemed slightly lighter. Maybe things will get better someday. But Monday was already approaching. The cycle would start again. Monday night, 11:00 p.m. I returned to Mitchell Technologies. Seemed like an ordinary night. Just another shift. Or so I thought. 100 a.m. I was cleaning the third-floor conference rooms. Wiping down a whiteboard. Complex algorithms covered every inch. Neural network diagrams. Gradient descent equations. Backpropagation formulas. I used to understand all of this. I learned this at MIT. This was supposed to be my life. I stopped and stared at the equations. Convolutional neural network architecture. Loss function optimization. Tensor flow calculations. Concepts I once loved. Dreams I once had. Now just marks to erase. I wiped the board completely clean. Erased it all. 400 a.m. Cleaning shift complete. I put away all my supplies. Changed out of my uniform. Grabbed my bag. Ready to finally go home. I headed toward the back exit. The one employees never use. The back alley was dark. Only one flickering street light. Dumpsters lined the wall. As I walked past, I heard something. A low groan. I froze. Probably just a homeless person. Should I just keep walking? But something felt wrong. I slowly approached. Next to the dumpster, a man was lying on the ground. Older, maybe 60s, wearing filthy, torn clothes. Face covered in dirt, body trembling violently. Sir, are you okay? No response. His hand clutched his chest. Face deathly pale, lips turning blue. Sir, can you hear me? I knelt down beside him. I checked for a pulse. Found one. Weak, irregular, barely there. His breathing, shallow, rapid, labored. Oh God, this is serious. Heart attack? Stroke? I immediately pulled out my phone. Dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? There's a man collapsed behind Mitchell Technologies. He's barely breathing. I think he's having a heart attack or stroke. What's the exact address? 3250 Hanson Way, Palo Alto. The back alley behind the building. Please hurry. An ambulance is being dispatched now. Stay on the line with me. Is the patient breathing? I checked again. Yes, but barely. Very weak. Good. Keep him warm if possible. Don't move him. Don't give him anything to eat or drink. Ambulance will arrive in approximately 10 minutes. 10 minutes felt like an eternity. I took off my jacket and draped it over the old man. His body was so cold. Still trembling. Sir, please hold on. Help is coming. Just stay with me. You're going to be okay. The old man's eyes opened slightly. He looked at me, that look, like he was trying to say something. Trying to thank me, but he couldn't speak. I held his freezing hand. I'm here. You're not alone. Finally. Wee woo. Wee woo. Red and blue lights flooded the alley. The ambulance screeched to a stop. 2 paramedics jumped out, moving fast. All business. Where's the patient? Here, right here. They rushed over with equipment. Male, approximately 60 to 65 years old. Minimally responsive. Weak irregular pulse. Rapid shallow breathing. Possible cardiac event or CVA. Oxygen mask went on immediately. Blood pressure cuff. Portable ECG. IV line. We need to transport immediately. They lifted him onto a stretcher. Strapped him in. Are you family? One paramedic looked at me. No, I just found him here. I don't know who he is. Can you come with us to the hospital? We'll need any information you have. Of course. Yes. I climbed into the back of the ambulance. 15 minutes later, we arrived at Stanford Hospital. The old man was rushed inside. Straight to the emergency room. Doctors and nurses swarmed. I was left in the waiting area. Sterile white walls. Harsh fluorescent lights. The smell of disinfectant burning my nose. Cold plastic chairs. I sat down. Waited. 30 minutes passed. A doctor emerged. Mid-40s. Tired eyes. Wrinkled scrubs. Are you with the patient? Not exactly. I found him collapsed. I don't know him. I see. He glanced at his tablet. The patient suffered an ischemic stroke. A blood clot blocking blood flow to the brain. It's serious. My stomach dropped. Is he going to be okay? We need to administer TPA immediately. That's a clot-busting medication. But first we need a CT scan to confirm. Time is critical with strokes. Okay, so to the scan. Whatever he needs. The doctor's expression changed. He looked uncomfortable. There's a complication. What kind of complication? The patient has no identification. No insurance card. No wallet. Nothing. So, without insurance or payment, the doctor sighed heavily. The ambulance transport alone is $3,000. A CT scan is $5,000. Emergency room treatment is another $5,000 minimum. We're looking at over $10,000. I felt like I'd been punched. Wait, you're saying he can't get treatment? Because he has no money? We'll provide emergency stabilization. That's required by law. But beyond that, without insurance or payment up front, we can't do the CT scan. We can't administer TPA. Which means, he didn't need to finish. Which means the old man might die. My hands were shaking. I reached for my wallet. Opened it with trembling fingers. Inside, $50. 2 crumpled $20 bills. 110. My last money. My entire food budget for the week. If I give this, I'll have to starve for 7 days. Until next payday. I stared at the bills. I can't. I need this money. I'm already barely surviving. But then I looked up. Through the window into the saw the old man on the gurney. Oxygen mask on his face. So vulnerable. So helpless. A complete stranger. Someone I'd never met. Never seen before. But a human being. How can I let someone die when I have the power to help? I closed my eyes. Took a deep breath. Made my decision. Doctor. He looked at me. Yes? My voice came out barely above a whisper. I can pay the co-payment. I held out the $50. My hand shaking. The doctor's eyes widened. He looked at me. Really looked at me. At my cheap clothes. My worn-out shoes. My tired face. He understood immediately. This was probably all I had. Are you sure? His voice was gentle. Yes. I pressed the bills into his hand. Please save him. The doctor held my hand for a moment. This is incredibly kind of you. Thank you. I promise we'll do everything we can. He took the $50 to the registration desk. I looked down at my empty wallet. Balance $0. Not a single dollar left. 1 hour passed. I sat in that plastic chair, staring at the wall. My stomach growled loudly. I hadn't eaten since last night. Now I had no money for food. I looked at the vending machine. Snacks, sandwiches, drinks, granola bar $1.75. Bag of chips $1.50. Bottled water $2. I couldn't afford anything. Finally, the doctor returned. Good news. I jumped up. The CT scan confirmed ischemic stroke. We caught it early enough. We've administered TPA. He's responding well. He's going to survive? Yes. The doctor smiled for the first time. Thanks to you. If you hadn't called 911. If you hadn't paid for that co-payment. If there had been any more delay. He wouldn't have made it. You saved his life. I felt my knees go weak. He's alive. I saved someone. Even though my week's food budget was gone. Even though I'd have to starve. I saved a human life. That meant something. Can I see him? Just for a minute? He's resting, but yes. Briefly, I walked into the small room. White walls. Beeping monitors. Medical equipment everywhere. The old man lay in the bed. Oxygen mask covering his face. IV lines in his arms. Heart monitor showing steady rhythm. But his eyes were open. Alert. He saw me enter. Couldn't speak with the mask. But his eyes. So much emotion in those eyes. Gratitude. Recognition. Something deeper. I approached the bedside. Sir, you're going to be okay. The doctors say you're going to recover. Just rest now. His hand moved slightly, reaching toward me. I took his hand gently. It was warm now, no longer ice cold. You're safe now. Everything's going to be okay. A single tear rolled down his cheek. I quietly left the room. Outside, dawn was breaking. 7:00 a.m. The sun rising over the bay. I walked out of the hospital. Into the cold morning air. My wallet empty. My refrigerator empty. My bank account $12. 7 days until next payday. How am I going to survive? But somehow, I felt lighter. I saved someone's life today. I got home around 8 a.m. Exhausted, starving. I opened my refrigerator. Empty. Just a half bottle of ketchup. Some mustard. Baking soda. Nothing to eat. I filled a glass with tap water. Drank it slowly. That's all I had. Water. My stomach growled in protest. It's just 1 week. I can survive on water. People fast for longer than this. I tried to convince myself. Tuesday. I didn't work at the diner on weekdays. Only weekends. So I stayed home, trying to conserve energy. Drank more water. Nothing else. Hunger pangs came in waves. Sharp. Painful. But I endured. Wednesday night. 11 p.m. I had to go to Mitchell Technologies. Had to work. Needed that paycheck. But I felt weak. Dizzy when I stood up. I drove slowly, gripping the steering wheel tight. Vision occasionally blurring. Just hold on. 4 more days. I started my cleaning routine. Mopping the first floor. But after 30 minutes, I had to stop. Leaned against the wall. Breathing hard. Vision going dark at the edges. Emma? Security guard Mark approached. You okay? You look really pale. I'm fine. I forced a smile. Just tired. You sure? You don't look fine. Maybe you should go home. No, I need the hours. I'll be okay. It was a lie. Thursday was worse. While cleaning the 3rd floor, my knees suddenly buckled. I collapsed. Hands on the floor. Breathing heavily. Low blood sugar. Dehydration. My body was shutting down. 5th floor hallway. I leaned against the wall. Sliding down. Cold sweat. Shaking. Nausea. I can't pass out. If I pass out, I'll lose my job. I need this job. Just a few more days. I forced myself to stand. Gritted my teeth. Kept cleaning. My phone buzzed. Ryan babe, want to grab dinner tonight? Ryan haven't seen you all week. Ryan miss you. My eyes filled with tears. I wanted to say yes so badly. Wanted to see him. Wanted to eat something. Anything. But I couldn't. I typed back. Emma sorry, working late again. Emma maybe this weekend? Emma love you. Ryan you're working too much. Ryan are you okay? Ryan you seem different lately. Emma I'm fine. Just busy. Talk tomorrow. I put my phone away. Couldn't let him know. Couldn't let him see how desperate I was. My pride wouldn't allow it. Friday morning. The worst day yet. I woke up at 4 a.m. for my shift. Tried to stand. The room spun. I grabbed the wall. Barely made it to the bathroom. Looked in the mirror. I looked like a ghost. Skin pale white. Lips cracked. Eyes sunken. But I had to work. Just one more day until Saturday. Then I'd work at the diner. Get tips. Buy food. Just survive today. My phone rang. Mitchell Technologies. Hello? Emma, this is Sarah from our. We need you to come in early today. 3 p.m. instead of 11 p.m. Why? Important board meeting at 5 p.m. Mr. Mitchell wants the executive floor spotless. We'll pay you time and a half. Time and a half. That meant $27 per hour instead of $18. I'll be there. Friday, 3:00 p.m. I arrived at Mitchell Technologies. Felt like I was walking through water. Everything in slow motion. Body screaming for food. But I pushed through. Started on the 5th floor. Executive level. 4:30 p.m. I was cleaning the hallway. When the elevator dinged, a catering staff member stepped out. Pushing a cart. Coffee service. Water. Pastries. Excuse me. He wheeled past. I went back to mopping. But something felt off. I glanced up. The catering guy kept looking around, nervous, checking if anyone was watching. I pretended to clean, but watched him. He stopped at his cart. Looked around one more time. Then reached into his pocket. Pulled out a small glass bottle. Clear liquid inside. My heart rate spiked. What is that? I watched in horror. He picked up one of the coffee cups. Checked the name card. Mr. Mitchell. Then unscrewed the small bottle. Tilted it over the coffee. Drop, drop, drop. 3 drops of clear liquid. Fell into the coffee. He quickly screwed the cap back on. Pocketed the bottle. Stirred the coffee casually. My blood ran cold. That's poison. He just poisoned that coffee. He's going to kill someone. My mind raced. What do I do? Call security? But what if I'm wrong? What if it's just some additive? I'll look crazy. But what if I'm right? And someone dies? The catering guy pushed his cart into the main boardroom. I could see through the glass walls. People were filing in, men and women in expensive suits, taking seats around a massive table. This was the board meeting. The catering guy started distributing coffees, one by one, placing cups in front of each person. Then he reached the head of the table. An older man sat there, distinguished looking, gray hair, expensive suit, clearly in charge. The catering guy placed the poisoned coffee directly in front of him. The meeting started. The older man spoke. "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Let's begin with Q4 projections." He reached for his coffee cup, picked it up, brought it toward his lips. 0 0.1 seconds from drinking. I didn't think. Pure instinct. My body moved on its own. I dropped my mop, ran toward the conference room. "Sir, don't drink that coffee." I burst through the door. Full sprint. The entire room froze. Every single person turned to stare. A janitor, in a dirty uniform, just burst into their executive meeting, screaming. The older man stopped, coffee cup still at his lips. "What?" I was breathing hard, shaking, but I pointed directly at the catering guy. "That man, he poisoned your coffee. I saw him. He put something in it." The room exploded in chaos. "What? That's insane." Security. The catering guy's face went white. That's ridiculous. I didn't do anything. She's crazy." The door burst open. 3 security guards rushed in. "What's happening here?" The older man set down his coffee cup. Slowly, carefully, he looked at me. "This woman claims." He gestured to the catering staff. "That man poisoned my coffee." "That's insane." The catering guy protested loudly. "I'm a professional. I would never." "Check his pockets," I shouted. "He has a small bottle. Clear liquid." I saw him. Right pocket. The lead security guard approached. "Sir, I need you to empty your pockets. This is harassment. I'm calling my lawyer." "Sir, now." The security guard searched him. Right pocket. He pulled out a small glass bottle. Clear liquid inside. The room went deathly silent. "Oh my God," someone whispered. "Call 911. The older man's voice was ice cold. "Now." Security grabbed the catering guy. Restrained him. "Let go of me. You don't understand. They made me do it. Tech Corp. They paid me." "Shut up." One guard cuffed him. Within minutes, police sirens. A board member carefully picked up the poisoned coffee cup. "We need to send this to a lab. Immediately." An hour later, results came back. The police detective's face was grim. The substance in the coffee was ricin. Gasps around the room. "Ricin? That's one of the deadliest poisons known. Just a few drops can kill within hours." Everyone turned to look at me. This janitor, this nobody, had just prevented an assassination. The older man stood up, walked slowly toward me. I was still shaking, still trying to process what happened. "What's your name?" His voice was gentle. "Emma. Emma Carter. Emma Carter." He held out his hand. "I'm James Mitchell." My stomach dropped. James Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell Technologies. Net worth $8 billion. Forbes 100 list. One of the most powerful men in Silicon Valley. I just saved a billionaire's life. James Mitchell took my hand. In both of his. "Emma, you just saved my life. I just saw something wrong. I had to. You risked your job, coming into this meeting, disrupting everything. You could have been wrong. You could have been fired. But you did it anyway. Because it was the right thing to do." I couldn't speak, just nodded. "How can I ever repay you?" "You don't have to. I couldn't let someone die." James Mitchell pulled out his wallet, extracted a card, personal business card. "This is my private number. My direct line. If you ever need anything at all, you call me." He pressed it into my hand. James Mitchell, CEO, Mitchell Technologies. Personal 650-555-0147. "I mean it, Emma. Anything." Police took the catering guy away. FBI would get involved. Corporate espionage. International incident. But I just wanted to leave. James Mitchell stopped me at the door. "Emma, take the rest of the week off. Paid. You've earned it." "Thank you, sir." I left the building in a daze. I got to my car. Sat in the driver's seat. Finally, it all hit me. I started shaking, crying. I almost watched someone die. I stopped an assassination. I saved a billionaire's life. But I was still starving. Still had $0. Still had to survive 2 more days. Saturday morning, I dragged myself to Sonny's diner. Finally, I could eat. After working, I'd have tip money. "Emma," my manager Tom looked concerned. "You look terrible. You sick?" "Just tired." "I'm okay. You sure you can work?" "Yes. I need the hours." 200 p.m. I was carrying a tray. 4 plates. Heavy. Suddenly, the room tilted. Everything went black. Crash. I hit the floor. Plates shattered everywhere. Emma. Voices shouting. Call 911. She's not responding. Emma. Can you hear me? Wee woo. Wee woo. White ceiling. Beeping sounds. Where am I? Emma? That voice. Ryan. I turned my head. Ryan sat beside the hospital bed. His face pale with worry. Ryan? My voice cracked. Thank God you're awake. He grabbed my hand. You collapsed at the diner. They called an ambulance. A doctor entered. Ms. Carter. You're awake. Good. He checked my chart. You collapsed from severe malnutrition and dehydration. Malnutrition? Ryan's voice rose. What do you mean malnutrition? When was the last time you ate? The doctor asked me directly. I couldn't answer. Emma. Ryan turned to me. When did you last eat? Monday. I whispered. Monday. Ryan stood up. That was 5 days ago. Why? Why haven't you been eating? The tears came. I couldn't hold them back anymore. I gave my last $50 to a homeless man. He was dying, having a stroke. The hospital needed money for his CT scan. And I couldn't let him die. So I gave them everything I had. And I've been starving all week. I had no money for food. I was trying to make it to payday. Ryan pulled me into his arms. Emma, you beautiful, stupid, wonderful person. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to burden you. You have your own problems. We're supposed to be a team. His voice broke. You're supposed to tell me these things. Ryan pulled out his wallet. Inside was $100. Here. He tried to give it to me. Ryan, no. You need that. Emma. He pressed the bills into my hand. We're in this together. Your problems are my problems. Okay? I sobbed into his shoulder. The doctor cleared his throat. We've given you IV fluids. Electrolytes. Some nutrition. You can be discharged. But Ms. Carter, please, eat regularly. If this continues, it could cause permanent damage. I understand. Ryan took me to a small diner. Not Sonny's. Somewhere else. Ordered me a cheeseburger, fries, milkshake. The food arrived. I took one bite and started crying. 5 days without food. This simple burger tasted like heaven. Slow down, babe. Ryan smiled sadly. Don't make yourself sick. But I couldn't stop. So hungry. So grateful. Monday morning. Payday. I checked my bank account. Direct deposit $1,800. Bonus $500. Bonus? An email from Mitchell Technologies HR. Dear Emma, thank you for your exceptional service and vigilance on Friday. Mr. Mitchell has personally authorized a $500 bonus for you. I stared at the screen. $500. For the first time in months. I could breathe. Otherwise, Monday seemed normal. I went to work at the diner. Regular shift. 11:00 p.m. I arrived at Mitchell Technologies. For my night shift. But something was different. Employees were still there. Working late. They saw me. That's her. That's Emma. The one who saved Mr. Mitchell. Whispers. Stares. I felt my face burning red. I tried to just do my job. Started cleaning the first floor. But people kept approaching. Thank you for what you did. You're so brave. Mr. Mitchell told everyone. I didn't know what to say. Just nodded. Smiled awkwardly. Kept cleaning. 100 a.m. I was cleaning the third floor. The elevator dinged. At 1 a.m.? No one should be here. The doors opened. James Mitchell stepped out. The CEO. At 1 a.m. Mr. Mitchell. I straightened up quickly. Emma. He smiled warmly. I was hoping to find you. Is everything okay, sir? Everything's fine. I wanted to talk to you. He gestured to a bench in the hallway. Please, sit. I sat down nervously. He sat beside me. This was surreal. A billionaire CEO. Sitting on a hallway bench. With his janitor. At 1 a.m. Emma, can I ask you something? Of course, sir. Why did you do it? Do what, sir? Save me. You didn't know who I was. You could have just ignored what you saw. Stayed out of it. Kept your head down. But you didn't. You risked everything. Why? I thought for a moment. Because it was the right thing to do. Someone's life was in danger. I couldn't just do nothing, even though I was a stranger? Everyone's someone's loved one, someone's father, someone's friend. It didn't matter that I didn't know you. You're a human being. That's enough. Ford ate the truth. James Mitchell looked at me. For a long moment. Emma, that wasn't the first time you saved me. I blinked. What do you mean? Last Monday, early morning, Behind this building. My eyes went wide. That was you. Yes. The homeless man. The stroke victim. The $50. It was James Mitchell. But, why? Why were you dressed like that? I was testing someone. Testing who? My son. My heart stopped. Your son? Ryan. Ryan Mitchell. Ryan. My Ryan. Ryan is your son. Yes. My mind was reeling. But, Ryan told me he works at a startup. He said his name is Ryan Carter. He said he has student loans. He drives a Honda Civic. James smiled sadly. He does work here, as a software engineer, using your last name, living on his engineer's salary, driving a cheap car, because he wanted to be normal, wanted to live without my shadow, wanted to see if someone could love him, for who he is, not for my money. Ryan has been dating you for a year, but he never told me about you, never brought you home, was secretive. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know what kind of person my son had fallen in love with. So I tested you. I disguised myself as a homeless man, collapsed behind the building, waited to see what would happen. And you, James's voice filled with emotion. You saved me. You didn't know who I was. You thought I was homeless. Poor. Nobody. But you gave me your last $50. Your last money. Your food budget for a week. You were willing to starve. To save a complete stranger. James stood up. And then, you saved me again. From assassination. Without hesitation. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. Emma Carter, you have the kindest heart I've ever encountered. My son is lucky to have you. And I approve. Completely. Wholeheartedly. This Sunday, 6 p.m., I want you to come to dinner. At my home. Meet the family. Officially. But, Mr. Mitchell, I'm just a janitor. You're not just anything. You're Emma Carter, the woman who saved my life twice. The woman my son loves. The woman with more character than most people I've ever met. He handed me a card with an address. This Sunday, don't be late. He walked back to the elevator. Paused. Turned back. Oh, and Emma? Ryan doesn't know yet. It'll be a surprise for him too. He winked. The elevator doors closed. I sat there in shock. I immediately called Ryan. Emma? It's 2 a.m. You okay? Ryan, we need to talk. What's wrong? About your father. Long silence. You know. Yes. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wanted to, but I understand. Really, I do. Are you mad? No. I love you for who you are. Not who your father is. I could hear him crying. That's why I love you, Emma. Sunday afternoon. I stood in front of my tiny closet. What does one wear to a billionaire's house? I owned exactly 3 dresses. All from Target. All under $30. I chose the navy blue one. Least wrinkled. 600 p.m. A knock on my door. I opened it. Ryan stood there, but not in his usual Honda Civic. Behind him, a black Tesla Model S. Ready? Ryan, I know. I should have told you earlier. I'm sorry. It's okay. I kissed him. I still love you. We drove through Atherton, the wealthiest neighborhood in Silicon Valley. Massive estates, tall hedges, long driveways. The gates opened. We drove up a winding driveway. And there it was, the Mitchell estate, a modern mansion, 10,000 square feet minimum, glass walls, infinity pool, perfect landscaping. This is home, Ryan said quietly. 5 to 5 entrance. Ryan parked, opened my door. Emma, he held my hand. My mother, she can be difficult. I know, just be yourself. My dad already loves you. Before we could knock, the door swung open. James Mitchell stood there, but different from before. Not in a janitor disguise. Not in a business suit. Casual cashmere sweater. Designer jeans. Rolex watch glinting. Emma, welcome. He hugged me warmly. Thank you for coming. The interior was breathtaking. Double-height ceilings. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Overlooking the bay. Modern art on every wall. Original Picasso. Rothko. Warhol. Wow. Footsteps on the marble staircase. A woman descended. Early 50s. Elegant. Chanel dress. Pearls. Perfect blonde hair. Margaret Mitchell. Ryan's mother. Margaret looked at me. Her eyes traveled up and down. Taking in my cheap Target dress. My worn shoes. My simple appearance. Her lips pressed into a thin line. So, you're Emma. Yes, ma'am. I extended my hand. It's wonderful to meet you. She didn't take it. Just turned. Walked toward the dining room. Dinner is ready. The dining room table. Could seat 20 people, but only 4 of us sat. James at the head, Margaret to his right, Ryan and I across from her. Servers brought the first course. Some kind of fancy soup. Margaret sipped her wine, then looked at me. So, Emma, tell me about your family. My father passed away when I was young. My mother works at a grocery store. Safeway, I see. Margaret's tone was ice cold. And your education? MIT. Computer science. Graduated with honors. Her eyebrow raised. MIT? Really? How? Unexpected. Yet you work as a janitor? The way she said, janitor, was pure contempt. I graduated during the recession. Tech layoffs. Couldn't find work in my field. So I took what I could get. I see. She smiled coldly. And you have student loans? Mom. Ryan's voice was sharp. That's inappropriate. It's a reasonable question. Margaret turned to me. How much debt? I swallowed hard. $127,000. Oh my. She placed her hand on her chest. Mockingly dramatic. That's quite a burden for Ryan to take on. Enough, Margaret. James's voice cut like a knife. Emma saved my life. Twice. She has more integrity in her little finger than most people have in their entire body. I don't care about her bank account. I care about her character. Margaret went quiet, but her eyes remained cold. Dinner ended awkwardly. Ryan took me outside, to the garden, away from his mother. I'm so sorry. She's always like this. It's not about you. It's okay. No, it's not. He held my face. She has no right to treat you that way. Ryan, I don't care what she thinks. I only care about you. Emma. Ryan got down on one knee. Not a proposal yet, but a promise. I will marry you someday. I don't care what my mother says. You're the one I want. Forever. I pulled him up, kissed him. Forever. 3 weeks passed. Life returned to semi-normal. I still worked 2 jobs. But now with the bonus money, I had some breathing room. Ryan and I were stronger than ever. Thursday night, 11:30 p.m. My phone rang while I was cleaning. Unknown number. Hello? Emma Carter? Yes? This is Stanford Hospital. You're listed as an emergency contact. For James Mitchell. My blood ran cold. What happened? Mr. Mitchell has suffered a severe stroke. He's in critical condition. You should come immediately. I dropped everything, ran to my car, drove as fast as I dared. 20 minutes to the hospital. Felt like hours. Ryan was already there, pacing, face pale. Emma, he grabbed me. It's bad, really bad. Margaret sat in a chair, stone-faced. The doctor emerged. Family of James Mitchell? We all stood. Mr. Mitchell has suffered a massive hemorrhagic stroke. There's significant bleeding in the brain. We need to operate immediately. But there's a complication. What complication? Ryan demanded. He needs a blood transfusion. 800 cc minimum. What's the problem? You have blood banks. His blood type is AB negative. Silence. That's one of the rarest blood types. Only 0.6% of the population. We've checked every blood bank. In California, there's none available. Without blood, we can't perform the surgery. And without surgery, he didn't finish. Test us, Ryan said immediately. Test our blood. Margaret stood. Test mine too. I stepped forward. Test mine as well. 5 minutes later. Results. Ryan A positive. Margaret O positive. Me AB negative. We have a match. The doctor looked at me. You're AB negative? Yes. Are you willing to donate? How much do you need? 800 cc. That's a lot. More than a typical donation. Will it save him? Yes. Then let's do it. They took me to a room. Laid me on a bed. Inserted a needle in my arm. I watched my blood flow through the tube. Dark red. Going to save James Mitchell's life. Third time. 6 hours. The longest 6 hours of my life. Ryan held my hand in the waiting room. Margaret sat across from us. For the first time, she looked at me differently. Not with contempt. With something else. Finally, the surgeon emerged. The surgery was successful. We all exhaled. Mr. Mitchell is in recovery. He's stable. He's going to survive. Ryan hugged me. Started crying. Thank you, Emma. You saved him again. Margaret stood. Walked over to me. For a moment, we just looked at each other. Then she did something unexpected. She hugged me. Thank you. Her voice cracked. Thank you for saving my husband. When she pulled back, there were tears in her eyes. I was wrong about you. 6 months later, I walked into Mitchell Technologies. But not through the service entrance. Through the front doors, not in a janitor's uniform. In business attire, senior AI researcher, Emma Carter, PhD. Candidate, James Mitchell had personally hired me, paid off my entire student loan debt, enrolled me in Stanford's PhD program, gave me a position in the research division, salary $180,000 per year. 1 year after I saved James's life, Ryan and I got married. The wedding was beautiful. At the Mitchell estate, 500 guests. James walked me down the aisle. "Thank you for saving my life," he whispered, 3 times. "Thank you for giving me mine back," I whispered back. At the reception, James made an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, today we're not just celebrating a wedding, we're announcing the creation of the $50 Foundation." Applause. Named after the $50 Emma gave to save my life. This foundation will help students drowning in debt, just like Emma was. We'll pay off student loans, fund scholarships, give second chances, and Emma Carter Mitchell will be our executive director. 2 months later, I sat across from Anderson Cooper. CNN interview. "Emma, your story is incredible. A janitor who saved a billionaire's life 3 times. Now you're married to his son, running a foundation, working as a researcher. What do you want people to know?" I thought carefully. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything. I gave $50, my last $50, to save someone I'd never met. I didn't know he was a billionaire. I didn't know he was my boyfriend's father. I didn't know it would change my life. I just knew it was the right thing to do. And that's what I want people to remember. Do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when it costs you. Because you never know how one small choice might change everything. 6 months later, I stood on the TED stage. Red circle, bright lights, 1,000 people watching. My name is Emma Carter Mitchell. 2 years ago, I was a janitor, drowning in $127,000 of debt. Today, I'm here to tell you how $50 changed my entire life. The talk went viral, 15 million views. 1 year after the wedding, I returned to the back alley, behind Mitchell Technologies, where I found James, where everything started. Now there was a plaque. On this spot, Emma Carter gave her last $50 to save a stranger's life. Let this remind us, small acts of kindness can change the world. 2 years later, I stood in the nursery of our new home, holding our daughter, Grace. "Your grandpa is coming today," I whispered to her. "He can't wait to meet you. And someday, I'll tell you the story of how $50 brought this whole family together." The doorbell rang. James Mitchell stood there, now 70 years old, retired from Mitchell Technologies, healthy, happy. "Is that my granddaughter? Come meet her, James." He held Grace gently. "She's perfect, just like her mother." Every Sunday, the whole family gathered, James and Margaret, Ryan and me, baby Grace, around the big dining table. Margaret now treated me like a daughter. "Emma, I'm sorry for how I treated you when we first met." "It's okay, Margaret, I understand." "No." She took my hand. "I was wrong. I judged you by your bank account instead of your character. Thank you for forgiving me." The $50 foundation had paid off student loans for over 10,000 students, changed countless lives. We received letters every day. "Thank you for giving me a second chance. I can finally breathe. I can finally live." 3 years after everything began, I launched my own AI startup, using everything I learned at Mitchell Technologies. Series A funding $15 million. Hired 20 employees, including several people who had been helped by the foundation. 4 years later, I returned to Stanford Hospital, not as a patient, as a blood donor. "AB negative is so rare," the nurse said. "Thank you for donating regularly. Someone did the same for me once. Actually, I donated to save someone who changed my life. This is how I pay it forward." 10 years later, my AI startup had gone public. Valuation $2 billion. I was now a billionaire myself. But I still remembered. I created a full scholarship program at MIT, the Emma Carter Scholarship, for students from low-income families studying computer science. Full tuition, full living expenses, no debt, 100 students per year. E3 The documentary. Netflix produced a documentary, The Janitor and the Billionaire. A story of $50. Featured interviews with everyone. Me, Ryan, James, Margaret, the doctors who treated James, students helped by the foundation. Nominated for an Oscar. In the documentary, James said something I'll never forget. I've been rich my entire adult life. I've met thousands of people. Most of them wanted something from me. But Emma gave me everything she had. When I was nobody to her. Just a dying homeless man. That's the purest form of humanity. And that's why I trust her. With my son's heart, Ryan said in his interview. I hid my identity for years. Trying to find someone who loved me. For me. And I found Emma. She gave away her last $50. To save my father's life. When she didn't know who he was. When she thought he was homeless. That's when I knew. That's when I knew I'd marry her. In my final TED Talk. I said, $50. That's all it took. $50 to save a life. To change a destiny. To create a family. To build a foundation. To inspire millions. You might think, you need millions to make a difference. But sometimes, all you need is $50. And the courage. To do the right thing. Present day. I'm 40 years old now. Standing in front of the new headquarters of the $50 Foundation. A massive building in downtown San Francisco. On the front wall, giant letters, small acts change everything. Below it, a sculpture, 2 hands, one holding $50, one accepting it. I stand there with my family. Ryan, now 43. Our 3 children, Grace, 10, Hope, 7, Charity, 4, James, now 80, still healthy, still sharp. Margaret, now 75. My second mother. James puts his arm around me. You know what's funny? What? I've spent billions of dollars. In my lifetime, built a massive company, created thousands of jobs, donated to countless causes, but the best investment I ever made was collapsing in that alley and waiting to see what kind of person would find me. He smiled. $50. Best $50 I ever spent. I laughed. You didn't spend it. I did. True, but I paid you back. With interest. We both laughed. As the sun set over San Francisco, I thought about everything. How I went from janitor to billionaire. How I went from starving to successful. How I went from alone to loved. All because of one choice. One moment. One decision. To give everything I had. To save a stranger. And I realized something. The $50 I gave wasn't the real gift. The real gift was the choice to be kind. When it cost me everything. The end. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change everything. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please subscribe and like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Because you never know, your $50 might change the world.